This quick guide should help any new or returning player survive as a solo hatchling. More in-depth species guides as well as tips and tricks and flight guides can also be found on my channel for further information. To begin with, you're going to need to select a server, as that will greatly impact your game experience. Hover over the little black and white symbol next to the server name. This will give you all the information you need. I know most will want to start on officials, but it's worth checking out community servers as many will have features that you won't find on officials, such as Instagrows, species restricted groups, and even server-wide events. The main thing you want to look for is if the server is PvP, which is player versus player. This will let dragons attack and kill other dragons freely. PvE, which is player versus environment, where you will only have to worry about hostile AI. Players may manually activate PvP on their dragons and engage in fights with others who also have this mode activated. DvE is essentially the same as PvE until the elementals are added, as this is a way for dragons to not be able to fight other dragons but still engage PvP through the dragon versus elemental faction warplay. As a new player, I highly recommend starting on a PvE server so you can learn the controls and map. Dragons can't be transferred between servers, nor can the in-game unlocks such as the Broodwatcher or Melanistic skin, so keep that in mind as you will need to unlock them again for each server. Players are able to have one dragon of each species per server, so feel free to swap between your dragons and play whatever you fancy at the time. There are currently 7 dragons you can select. The Flamestalker, Shadowscale and Inferno Ravager are all starter dragons. This means they are unlocked for everyone right from the start. Out of the 3, the Shadowscale is the easiest to learn with. The Acid Spitter Drake and Blitzstriker are both DLC dragons, but you don't have to own the DLC to play them. Just get nested in by another player. Being nested is actually recommended for all the dragons, as it often leads to more exotic colours and much better stats, which are increased through careful nesting. The Bio Dragon was a Kickstarter exclusive tier, but you can still play it through nesting and don't even need to get nested by other players, as there is an NPC pair over on the Cherry Island who often have eggs you can claim. The Broodwatcher is the latest addition to the game and will be unlocked through an in-game quest. Once unlocked, you will be able to spawn from the menu here, but only on the server you unlocked it. Upcoming dragons will be a mix of unlocks and starters, with the Firefang Behemoth being a DLC. Once you select your species, look at its attributes and pick its gender and skin if you like. The skin update is coming with the 1.3 update. I will be going more in depth about skins in a separate video then. You enter the world as an egg. Feel free to look around and listen for signs of other dragons. While I recommend starting on PvE, I will be explaining things as though you're on PvP and have to avoid other players. But on PvE, feel free to ask for help in the general chat by hitting enter and typing. If you can't open your chat panel, try pressing T, as that hides and unhides it. If you can't see any of your screen overlay, try pressing P, as it hides and unhides your HUD. Press E to hatch. If you're on a server with roleplay settings activated, you will see a panel to name your dragon before you hatch. Hold F to sniff. You will see scent lines, blue for water, green for fungus and plant matter, purple for AI, red for blood, and yellow for a nest of your species. If it's nighttime, you can press V to use your night vision. Follow the blue lines as water will be your first concern. Don't be afraid to make noise. Try out calls using the number keys or emote wheel with tab. I say this because if the area is dangerous and there are other dragons that are ready to kill a defenceless hatchling, you're better to get it over with right away instead of finding out part the way through your growth. There are a lot of spawn areas and some are in more populated areas than others. Sometimes it's best just to hatch again in a better area. The Shadowscale is actually able to go invisible. If you press Q, you will activate your cloak ability. Hold still and crouch using C and you will be able to go completely invisible and be unable to be seen. Be aware, Flamestalkers are able to use their special ability to see you. With water located, find a bush to hide a little distance away and press I to open up your information panel. Pressing enter while in the information panel will give you free movement of your mouse. Here you will find the minimap, time of day and status bars. Hunger and thirst will go up, and if you are at 100% hunger or thirst, you will rapidly start to take damage. You will get a warning icon on your HUD if you go above 50%. Keeping these 2 meters below 20% will give you a 50% growth boost as a hatchling and a 25% growth boost as a juvenile, so it's good to keep in mind. While managing thirst and hunger is important, don't just drink and feed with abandon. Water might not run out, but every time you leave your hiding spot, you're taking a risk. Food can run out though, so only eat when you're getting close to the 20% hunger. As a hatchling, you can mostly rely on red mushrooms. These will make you sick, but as long as you're not eating 10 in one go, you can rest and sleep it off, or even just let it heal over time. Press R to sit, hold R to lay down. While laying down, you can hold R again to go into a sleep. You can also hold Shift and R to go directly to a sleep. Tapping R when in any of these positions will stand you up. Sleeping will also recover exhaustion. This happens when you push your stamina too far and your bar goes dark black at the very end. Just sleep it off. Sleeping is also how you safe log. When the timer runs out, your dragon can log out immediately. If you log out before the timer finishes, then your dragon will remain in the world for 5 minutes and risk getting killed. Back to food. There are a few exceptions. Bio-dragons can only eat from bio-flowers. Brood watchers can eat from brood bushes as well as mushrooms, and if you're lucky enough you can press C to graze on grass. This won't fill you up, but it will greatly slow down your hunger. All other dragons at this point can eat meat, be it from scraps or maybe killing other sources if you're on PvP. Each dragon species requires a different amount of food and have different growth times, with the bio being the fastest at an hour to reach adulthood without growth boosts, and the brood watcher being the longest at 4 hours to reach adulthood without any growth boosts. Watch out how thirsty blitz strikers get and how hungry the larger dragons get. If you want to hunt, sniff and look for purple scent lines. If the purple is sitting in water, you might want to avoid it, as this could very well be a snapper and they are not friendly. Scrabs are what you're looking for, and what they lack in looks they make up for in taste. The bigger you get as a hatchling, the more damage you do, so it can be worth waiting to hunt until you start running out of mushrooms. The basic strategy is to run and bite with left click while you go past the bug. You may well need to rest and regain your stamina or heal up, but eventually you will take it down. The Flamestalker is able to use its Q ability to activate a thermal vision and gain an extra crit chance on its bites. Only the Blitz Striker is an exception to this, as it can't bite when it's moving. They thankfully don't need much food to reach Juvenile, which is when dragons unlock their range ability, but if you are forced to hunt, go up and bite the scrab then move away. Blitz are venomous, particularly as hatchlings, and normally after 2 bites spaced out, the scrab will fall over. Hold E over a body to eat. You can also hold the right mouse button to aim, and press E to pick up bodies that are small enough for you to carry. Picking up bodies will also reset their despawn timer, so you can hold onto a bug until you're hungry enough to eat your next bite. Just be aware that dead or bleeding creatures will leave a red scent trail. With food and water taken care of, you will need to spend your time growing and avoiding detection, at least in PvP. If you want to go exploring though, the Biolumin Blitz Striker hatchlings are able to hover pressing G and using Shift to go up and space to go down. Any winged hatchling are able to fly once they get in the air, either through hovering or from jumping off a ledge when pressing F while in the air to activate flying mode. Flying is a whole separate thing, so make sure to check out my flight videos to learn more. Just know that you can't die from fall damage, but you can get very, very hurt. Acid Spitters can't fly, but both they and the Biolumin are able to crouch with C and then run with Shift, which will turn into a sprint. Making friends can be very helpful, as this is a multiplayer game after all. To talk to someone nearby but not the whole server, use /L to talk locally. If you decide to group up, hit O to open your social panel and either start a group or wait for an invitation to accept. You can then use /G to talk to those in your group chat. Players may also offer eggs for other players to take, mostly in PvE. You can accept those eggs in the social panel as well, but you will need to be grouped up with them. When accepting an egg of a species you already have, your dragon will be replaced, as you can only have one dragon of each species. The dragon that you are currently playing will be logged off, or die in the process, depending on what species you are changing into. Dragons grow in size gradually. You might not even notice it until you see a fresh spawn. Once you hit Juvenile, you will notice you now have a bile meter, the brown bar at the bottom right, and that your hunger and thirst don't go up as quickly. To use your bile and thus your breath weapon, hold your right mouse button to aim, then click with your left mouse button. Some dragons have a blast, some require to hold the left mouse button in order for a stream. As a juvenile, you will have unlocked your second mutation point. These can be applied here in this tab of the information panel. As your first dragon, I would advise to put it into the survival tree, but feel free to experiment. You will get a max of 7 of these points. Tiny dragons such as the Biolumin will get them all at adult. All other dragons will gain them through time and eldering. See my eldering video to find out more on the process. These points can be reset, but only through dying and respawning as a hatchling, so be aware. Reaching Juvenile also unlocks this respawn mechanic, but I will cover that in a different video. Hopefully this video sets you up for your first dragon, or returning to the game. Feel free to ask me questions in the comments, or find a link in my description to the official Discord to chat with other players and learn more. See you soon!